Hi there, Phil Simborg for the USBGF. We have a 6-4 to play here in an unlimited or money game. Blue's holding the cube and red to play 6-4. How would you play it? Well, I was discussing this play with a student of mine this morning, and of course, like everyone else, you don't want to leave a shot here. You'd rather not get hit. You're trying to bring your checkers home. You give in the cube, and you just play safely. You play 13 to 7 and continue to 4 and don't leave a shot. It makes a lot of sense to just play safely. However, it's very wrong. The right play is to leave a shot. Actually, leave 2 shots. Play 13 to 7, 10 to 6. That doesn't seem to make sense. First of all, let's see if I'm just making up a story here, or if that's what really the play is. Let's look at XG Roller plus plus, and it'll show you that it's a real blunder to play 13 to 3. The best play by far is 13 7, 10 6. Well, first of all, you got to look at the other side of the board, and that's a major clue. You can afford to get hit here. In fact, getting hit isn't so terrible. However, that's not the major reason you're doing it. You're doing it because if you don't take chances now, if you play what they call safe, you're really playing much more dangerously, and you're going to have to take much bigger chances later. Sometimes playing safe is really playing dangerous. Let's take a look at this position more deeply. By the way, some of you who got the right play, it might have been the quiz factor. It's because I'm showing you this position, your antenna goes up and you think, wow, what's Phil showing me this simple play for? Maybe it isn't such a simple play, and you look around and find the right play. Over the board, you're in the middle of a game, you might well make the safe play like everybody else does in this position. Just about everybody else, except people who studied it and are experienced players. If your opponent has a better board, of course you wouldn't make that play. It's too dangerous now to leave all those shots. So if he has a better board, 13-3 probably becomes right, because if you leave 2 shots, there's a good chance he'll hit it and cover, and you'll get into trouble. So let's just confirm that first of all. It's all about the strength of the board of your opponent in this position. Let's put the original position back. And how do I show and teach a beginner or anyone, even an advanced player who doesn't really understand this position, why it's better? Well, people recommend you do a rollout. The rollout isn't going to tell you why it's better. A rollout's just going to refine the numbers and make them a little bit more accurate on how correct it is to make that play. The only way you can really see what's going to happen with this game as it plays on is to play it out a few times. Go to setup, play from position, and you can either play it against Extreme Gammon or play it against yourself. Or you can have Extreme Gammon play Extreme Gammon. But by playing this position out a few times, let me do it the spoiled way, where you play it against Extreme Gammon and you see what happens if you make the bad play. If you make the wrong play, and now you play it out, you put blue on roll, double action, blue on roll, it's just inevitable that you're going to leave some shots before it's over and get hit. You'd rather leave those shots and take the chances now, when you can make your 5-point or your bar point, and maybe have much less of a chance of leaving a shot later when the board's better. Again, trying to visualize this by explaining it to you is nowhere near as good as you're figuring it out by playing it out. Set up, play from position. Let's let Extreme Gammon play against Extreme Gammon. I've shown you this before. And let's just watch. Starts making the board. You got a good roll here. Gives you some flexibility. Makes the board. You leave a shot now, it's going to really hurt, isn't it? Great roll. Clears the midpoint without leaving a shot. Starting to look like it was pretty good to make the wrong play, wasn't it? You didn't have to take any chances. Well, let's keep watching. Oops, look at that. He voluntarily slotted right there. How many people would have done that? We would stop here and start looking at that play to see how many people would have made that play where he slotted the 5-point. Play number 3. I'm going to take a look at that in just a minute. I always learn something every single time I watch Extreme Gammon. I'm not saying I wouldn't have made that play. I'm saying it was a bit of a surprise. I might not have made that play. Okay, so far red has only left 1 shot. I'm willing to bet he's going to leave more. Here it isn't. Here it is. He volunteered there also. He didn't have to leave a shot there also. Look at that. Playing safe is not always the best play. The greatest players in the world, and you're looking at two of them right here, Extreme Gammon and Extreme Gammon, twice they volunteered when it didn't need to. Well, this worked out pretty good for Red, but he also left two shots along the way to make it work out. Let's let it just finish out the game and see what happens here. So you don't always get the result you expect. It doesn't always work out perfectly. That when you play it out, it punishes you for the bad play, as in real life. You get good rolls, or in this case, blue missed both times. If he'd have hit either time, I could have said, "Hi, I told you so. Listen to me from now on." So hindsight is always misleading. It's not always right in backgammon. Hindsight can often be misleading. That's why you don't learn by playing. You learn by studying the positions and looking at the odds, and by playing many times. Let's look at that play number 3 in particular. I thought that was very interesting. In the 5-2 play, he also volunteered a shot. Play number 12. All right, it's continuing to play this match out, so while it's doing that, I'm going to go back and look at play number 3, where Red volunteered a shot here. You can see 4-3, he could have played this one checker to the ace point. He could have played this checker to the 3 point. And look at this, it would have been a blunder to make any of those plays. It's right to take the chance right now because he knows you're going to have a continuing headache and Blue's board's going to get better. It's the same principle. Pay now or pay later. He'd rather pay now. And he can have a nice builder here, make this point next time, and solve a lot of your headaches. However, if you get hit, you can be in really big trouble. So lots of people aren't going to make that play. This is a triple lesson in taking the chance now. How about the 5-2 play of, was it the 4-2 play? Where is that play where he volunteered before? I'll have to find it and look at it, but I will. Here, 5-2, that's the play. He didn't have to volunteer here. He could play this 5 to the ace, and he could have played the 3 to the ace. But he's volunteering now while there's a blot, and he thinks it might be worse later. He might have to leave a double shot later. He might have to leave more shots later, but he's leaving a 6 shot. There's 17 numbers that hit the 6. Well, double twos doesn't work, so that's 16 numbers that hit this checker, and if he gets hit, he probably loses. And he's doing it now. He's that sure, Red is that sure, that he's going to leave a shot later. So here's a triple lesson. It started out to be a single lesson, a triple lesson in volunteering. That it's better to give now than to receive the cube later. Maybe that's this is the holiday season. 'Tis better to give than to receive. It's better to give the shot now than to receive a cube later. I like that. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Hope you learned something, and have a good holiday season. Thank you. Bye-bye.